You've probably sat in a classroom and watched someone ace a test they barely studied for. Meanwhile, you pulled an all-nighter and still bombed it. Here's the thing. It's not about being smart or dumb. It's about how your brain is wired to learn. And most students have no idea which type they actually are. A 2019 study from Stanford found that students who understood their own learning style performed 23% better over a semester. Not because they worked harder, because they worked smarter. Today, we're breaking down 6 types of students that cut across all ages. You'll probably recognize yourself in one of them. And once you do, you'll finally understand why some study methods feel like pushing a boulder uphill. Type 1, the grinder. This student believes effort equals results, period. They'll reread the same chapter 5 times, highlight everything, and make flashcards until their hand cramps. Psychologist Anders Ericsson, the guy behind the 10,000-hour rule, actually warned against this. He called it naive practice. Doing the same thing repeatedly without feedback doesn't build mastery. It builds exhaustion. If you're a grinder, your strength is discipline, but your growth area? Learning to study strategically, not just longer. Type 2, the crammer. We all know this person. Maybe you are this person. They do nothing for weeks, then absorb an entire textbook the night before. Here's the psychology. Crammers are actually experiencing something called the spacing effect in reverse. Research by Hermann Ebbinghaus back in 1885 showed that spaced repetition beats massed practice every time. Crammers can pass tests, but they forget everything within days. Your strength? You work well under pressure. Your improvement area? Start earlier. Even 20 minutes a day beats 5 hours the night before. Type 3, the perfectionist. This student won't submit anything unless it's flawless. They rewrite notes obsessively. They spend 3 hours on a paragraph. Psychologist Thomas Curran found that perfectionism has increased by 33% among students since 1989. And here's the twist. Perfectionism often masks fear of failure. The strength? High standards and attention to detail. The growth area? Embracing good enough. Done is better than perfect. Your brain learns more from finishing imperfect work than endlessly polishing something you never complete. Type 4. The social learner. They can't study alone. They need study groups, discussions, someone to bounce ideas off. This isn't a weakness. It's actually how our brains evolved. Anthropologist Robin Dunbar found that humans developed larger brains specifically for social interaction. Social learners use what's called elaborative interrogation, explaining concepts to others, which deepens their own understanding. Your strength? Collaboration and verbal processing. Your improvement area? Building the ability to focus solo when group study isn't an option. Type 5, the avoider. This student has a complicated relationship with studying. They'll clean their room, organize their desk, watch just one more video, anything but the actual work. Psychologist Tim Pitchell, who spent decades researching procrastination, says this isn't laziness. It's emotional regulation. Avoiders aren't avoiding the task. They're avoiding the negative feelings associated with it. Your strength? You're often creative and good at finding alternative solutions. Your growth area? Recognizing that starting is the hardest part. The Pomodoro technique, just 25 minutes of focus, can break the avoidance cycle. Type 6, the curious one. This student learns because they genuinely want to know. They go down rabbit holes, read beyond the syllabus, ask questions that annoy teachers. Psychologist Carol Dweck's research on growth mindset shows that curiosity-driven learners have more resilient motivation. They don't study for grades, they study for understanding. Your strength? Intrinsic motivation that doesn't burn out. Your improvement area? Sometimes you need to focus on what's required, not just what's interesting. Balance exploration with execution. Quick recap. The grinder works hard, but needs strategy. The crammer survives on adrenaline, but forgets fast. The perfectionist has high standards, but fears failure. The social learner thrives with others, but struggles alone. The avoider isn't lazy, they're managing emotions. And the curious one loves learning, but sometimes drifts from what's required. Most of us are a blend of 2 or 3 types. The goal isn't to change who you are, it's to understand your patterns and work with them. So here's my challenge for you. Which type are you? Drop it in the comments. I'm genuinely curious. And if you want to go deeper on the science of learning, we're building a community here at NeuroBytes. Students helping students understand how their brains actually work. Subscribe if that sounds like your kind of thing. Your brain is already wired to learn. Now you just need to learn how it's wired.